You're losing right now, and you don't even know why. Someone with less intelligence, less skill, and less integrity is taking opportunities that should have been yours, not because they're better, because they know something you don't. You were taught to be nice, fair, patient, and honest. They were taught how power actually works. While you wait for recognition, they take control. While you play by imaginary rules, they break real ones. Today I'm going to show you why playing fair is the fastest way to finish last. Why being ruthless doesn't mean being cruel, it means being psychologically free. And most importantly, how to stop being everyone's stepping stone and start becoming someone nobody dares to cross. But I need to warn you about something. Once you see how power really works, once you understand why good people get crushed while strategic people rise, you can't go back to being naive. You can't unsee the patterns. You can't unknow what's about to be revealed. I remember the exact moment I stopped being fair. I was the person who always helped, always supported, always gave others the benefit of the doubt. I believed that good work would be recognized, that loyalty would be returned, that kindness would be appreciated. And you know what happened? I got passed over for promotions I deserved. People I trained became my superiors. Colleagues I helped succeeded while I stayed exactly where I was. And the worst part, they didn't even feel guilty about it. They just saw me as someone too weak to compete. That's when I discovered Machiavelli's real message, not the cartoon villain version they teach you in school. The actual psychological truth he uncovered about human nature and power dynamics. He watched kind rulers get destroyed by their own generosity. He saw honest leaders betrayed by the people they trusted most. He witnessed fair people finish last, while ruthless strategists built empires. And he wrote down the pattern, the uncomfortable, undeniable pattern that nobody wants to acknowledge, but everyone experiences. Here's what you need to understand before we go deeper. Drop this in the comments right now. I choose strategic strength over blind fairness, because that's what this is really about. Not becoming a monster, becoming someone who sees reality clearly and responds accordingly. Someone who protects themselves while others are learning to exploit them. Someone who builds power while others are giving theirs away for free. The first lesson Machiavelli teaches is the most dangerous one. The world doesn't reward your intentions. It rewards your results. You can have the purest heart in the world. You can mean well with every action you take. You can sacrifice yourself trying to help others. None of it matters if you don't get the outcome you need. None of it protects you when someone decides to use your goodness against you. Think about it. How many times have you been kind to someone who interpreted your kindness as weakness? How many times have you been generous to someone who then expected more and more until you had nothing left? How many times have you been patient with someone who took advantage of that patience and never changed their behavior? Every single time you thought you were being good, but what you were really doing was training them to disrespect you. Machiavelli observes something brutal about human nature. People don't respect what comes easily. They don't value what's freely given. They don't appreciate what requires no effort to obtain. When you're always available, your availability becomes worthless. When you're always helpful, your help becomes expected. When you're always forgiving, your forgiveness becomes meaningless. This isn't because people are evil. This is because human psychology has a fatal flaw. We adapt to good treatment until it becomes invisible. Your repeated acts of fairness don't build loyalty, they build entitlement. Your consistent niceness doesn't create respect, it creates contempt. Your endless patience doesn't inspire gratitude, it invites exploitation. And the person doing this to you, they probably don't even realize they're doing it. They've simply adjusted their expectations based on your predictable behavior. So, what's the alternative? Stop being fair with people who aren't fair to you. Stop being generous with people who never reciprocate. Stop being patient with people who waste your time deliberately. This doesn't make you cruel. This makes you realistic. This makes you someone who understands that respect is earned through boundaries, not through endless accommodation. The second principle Machiavelli revealed cuts even deeper. Nice people finish last, not because the universe is unfair. Nice people finish last because nice people are predictable. And predictable people are easy to control, easy to manipulate, and easy to defeat. When someone knows exactly how you'll react to every situation, they own you. They can push your buttons like playing a piano. They can navigate around you like you're furniture in a room they've memorized. Watch what happens in any competitive environment. The person who always says yes gets the most work and the least recognition. The person who always helps gets taken for granted. The person who always compromises never gets what they actually want. Why? Because everyone knows they'll bend. Everyone knows they'll give in. Everyone knows they can be counted on to sacrifice their own interests for someone else's convenience. Ruthless people understand something that fair people refuse to learn. Unpredictability is power. When people can't figure out how you'll respond, they approach you carefully. When they don't know your limits, they test less frequently. When they can't manipulate your emotions, they start treating you with respect by default, not because they like you, because they're uncertain about what crossing you might cost them. Machiavelli wrote that it's better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Most people misunderstand this completely. They think he's advocating for cruelty and tyranny. He's not. He's observing a psychological reality. Love without respect leads to being taken for granted. Fear without cruelty leads to being taken seriously. The goal isn't to make people afraid of you. The goal is to make people understand there are consequences for mistreating you. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. Someone disrespects you publicly. The fair response is to pull them aside later and explain why that hurt your feelings. The ruthless response is to immediately create a consequence that makes them regret the action. Maybe it's withdrawing support they depend on. Maybe it's excluding them from something they value. Maybe it's simply responding with such cold indifference that everyone watching understands you're not someone to mess with. The key difference: fair people negotiate for respect. Ruthless people demonstrate why respect is mandatory. Here's what nobody tells you about boundaries. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. Absolutely nothing. You can announce your boundaries all day long. You can explain them carefully. You can remind people about them repeatedly. But if violating your boundary has no consequence, you don't have a boundary. You have a suggestion that people ignore whenever it's convenient for them. Ruthless people don't explain their boundaries multiple times. They enforce them once, decisively, and everyone gets the message. Ruthless people don't give second chances to the same behavior. They remove people who demonstrate They don't respect limits. Ruthless people don't warn repeatedly. They act swiftly and let the actions speak louder than any words could. The third lesson Machiavelli teaches is about generosity. And this one destroys the worldview most good people build their entire identity around. Generosity without strategy is just weakness wearing a nice mask. When you give to everyone who asks, you become valuable to no one. When you help everyone who needs it, your help loses all significance. When you're always the person who sacrifices, you become the person everyone expects to sacrifice. Listen carefully. The most generous people in history weren't the ones who said yes to everything. They were the ones who said no to most things so they could say yes in a way that actually mattered. They were selective. They were strategic. They understood that scattered generosity creates scattered impact. Focused generosity creates lasting change. You need to understand the economics of giving. Every time you help someone, you're spending a resource, your time, your energy, your expertise, your emotional investment. These resources are finite. When you spend them on people who don't appreciate them, you can't spend them on people who do. When you give them away freely, you have nothing left for the moments that actually matter. Machiavelli would tell you this: make people earn your generosity. Make them demonstrate they deserve it. Make them show they value it. This doesn't make you stingy. This makes you wise. This makes your help meaningful when you do give it. This makes people respect what you offer instead of expecting it like oxygen. Stop helping people who never help you back. Stop supporting people who disappear when you need support. Stop giving your resources to people who treat your generosity like it's worthless. Not because you're being mean, because you're being realistic about human nature, because you're protecting your ability to actually make a difference instead of spreading yourself so thin that you help no one effectively. The fourth principle is perhaps the darkest one, and it's the one that will make you see every relationship differently from this moment forward. Most people are not loyal. They're just waiting for a better offer. They don't stick with you because they value you. They stick with you until something better comes along. The moment someone offers them more money, more status, more convenience, or more advantage, their loyalty evaporates like it never existed. Machiavelli watched this pattern repeat endlessly. Allies who swore eternal friendship betrayed each other over tiny advantages. Servants who promised lifelong dedication abandoned their masters the moment someone else paid more. Partners who vowed unwavering support switched sides when the political winds changed. He learned that loyalty based on affection is temporary. Loyalty based on mutual benefit is the only kind you can actually count on. This is why ruthless people don't trust words. They trust incentives. They don't believe promises. They believe in creating situations where betraying them costs more than staying loyal. They don't hope people will do the right thing. They make doing the right thing the obviously beneficial choice. What does this mean for you? Stop expecting loyalty from people whose success doesn't depend on you. Stop trusting people who have nothing to lose by betraying you. Stop assuming people will stay when you've given them no reason beyond moral obligation. Moral obligation is the weakest force in human psychology. Self-interest is the strongest. Make yourself valuable. Make yourself difficult to replace. Make yourself someone that others need more than you need them. When people depend on you for something they can't easily get elsewhere, their loyalty becomes reliable, not because they're better people, because the incentive structure makes loyalty the smart choice. The fifth lesson Machiavelli teaches is about power dynamics. And this is where most fair people completely misunderstand how influence actually works. Power is not distributed based on who deserves it. Power is not given to the most qualified. Power is not awarded to the hardest worker. Power goes to the person who takes it and makes others accept that they have it. Fair people wait to be recognized. They work hard and hope someone notices. They build competence and expect competence to be rewarded. And they stay powerless because they're waiting for permission that never comes. Ruthless people don't wait. They demonstrate power before they officially have it. They act like leaders before they're given the title. They make decisions before they're authorized to make them. And somehow, mysteriously, the official power follows the demonstrated power. Here's why. Human beings are followers by nature. We look for signals about who's in charge. We unconsciously defer to people who carry themselves with authority. We automatically respect people who seem to expect respect. If you act like you have power, most people will treat you like you have power. And once enough people treat you like you have power, you effectively do have power. Machiavelli would tell you to stop asking for permission, stop waiting for authority to be granted, stop hoping someone will recognize your value and elevate you. Start acting like the person you want to become. Start making the decisions you want the authority to make. Start carrying yourself like someone who doesn't need permission because they already have power. This is uncomfortable for fair people because it feels like faking. It feels like pretending to be something you're not. But here's what you need to understand. Everyone with power started by acting like they had power before they officially did. Every leader started by leading before they had the title. Every authority figure started by assuming authority before it was granted. The only difference between you and them is that they were willing to be uncomfortable. They were willing to risk looking foolish. They were willing to take power before they earned it. The sixth principle is about information control. And this is where ruthless people completely separate themselves from fair people. Fair people share information freely. They answer questions honestly. They explain their thinking openly. They believe transparency builds trust. And they're absolutely right. Transparency does build trust. It also gives your competitors everything they need to defeat you. Machiavelli observed that the most powerful people controlled what information others had access to. They decided what to reveal and what to conceal. They understood that knowledge is power only when others don't have it. The moment you share your strategy, you lose your advantage. The moment you explain your methods, others can copy them. The moment you reveal your weaknesses, others can exploit them. Ruthless people operate with strategic opacity. They share information that benefits them to share. They conceal information that benefits them to conceal. They answer questions selectively. They reveal only what serves their interests. This doesn't make them dishonest. This makes them strategically intelligent. There's a massive difference between lying and simply not volunteering information that weakens your position. Stop telling people your plans before they're complete. Stop explaining your strategy to people who might use it against you. Stop sharing your vulnerabilities with people who haven't earned your trust. Information is currency. Don't spend it unless you're getting something valuable in return. The seventh lesson deals with the timing of action. Fair people move slowly. They deliberate carefully. They consider everyone's feelings. They wait for the perfect moment. And while they're waiting, ruthless people are already 3 moves ahead. Machiavelli teaches that in competition, speed beats perfection. Decisive action beats careful consideration. Moving first beats moving perfectly. When you see an opportunity, take it. Don't wait for permission. Don't overthink it. Don't wonder if it's the right time. If you see a gap, fill it before someone else does. If you see weakness in a competitor, exploit it before they fix it. If you see a chance to advance, advance immediately. Fair people lose because they're still analyzing the situation while ruthless people are already capitalizing on it. This doesn't mean being reckless. This means understanding that the cost of inaction usually exceeds the cost of imperfect action. The person who acts quickly and adjusts along the way beats the person who waits for perfect conditions that never arrive. Ruthless people make decisions with 70% of the information they wish they had. Fair people wait for 100%, and by the time they have it, the opportunity is gone. Think about any major success story you know. The person who succeeded wasn't the most prepared. They were the one who moved when others hesitated. They were the one who acted when others were still planning. They were the one who took the risk when others were still calculating whether it was safe. Action creates momentum. Momentum creates results. Results create reputation. Reputation creates more opportunities. But it all starts with the willingness to act before you feel completely ready. The 8th and final principle Machiavelli teaches is the most important one. Reputation is everything. Your reputation walks into the room before you do. It determines how people treat you before you say a single word. It shapes what opportunities come your way and which ones never appear. Most people think reputation is built by being good. Machiavelli knew it's built by being effective. Nobody remembers the nice person who tried their best. Everyone remembers the effective person who got results. Nobody talks about the fair person who followed all the rules. Everyone talks about the ruthless person who achieved the impossible. Your reputation should make people think twice before crossing you. Your reputation should make allies want to work with you. Your reputation should make competitors respect you even if they don't like you. Build a reputation for being someone who delivers. Build a reputation for being someone who doesn't make empty threats. Build a reputation for being someone whose boundaries are real. Build a reputation for being someone who rewards loyalty and punishes betrayal. This reputation becomes self-reinforcing. The more people believe you're formidable, the more formidable you actually become. Think about how reputation works in the real world. When someone has a reputation for being easy to push around, everyone pushes them around. When someone has a reputation for retaliating against disrespect, almost nobody disrespects them. The actual person hasn't changed. The behavior toward them has changed entirely based on what people believe about them. This is why managing perception isn't vanity. It's strategic necessity. Your reputation precedes you into negotiations. It precedes you into new relationships. It precedes you into job opportunities. It shapes what people offer you before you even ask. It determines whether people approach you with respect or with attempts at manipulation. A strong reputation does half your work for you because people self-select how they treat you based on what they've heard about you. Machiavelli wrote that it's not enough to be powerful. You must appear powerful. Appearance shapes reality in human psychology. If people perceive you as weak, they'll treat you as weak, which makes you effectively weak regardless of your actual capabilities. If people perceive you as strong, they'll treat you as strong, which amplifies whatever strength you actually have. Control the narrative about who you are. Don't let others define you. Don't let past mistakes become your permanent identity. Don't let people's limited understanding become your reputation. Actively manage how you're perceived. Showcase your victories. Minimize your failures. Associate with strong people. Demonstrate competence publicly. Make your presence felt. Make your boundaries known. Make your standards clear. Now let me tie all of this together, because understanding these principles is meaningless if you don't implement them. And implementation requires one fundamental shift that most people never make. You have to stop believing that the world will reward you for being good. You have to stop expecting fairness from a game that was never designed to be fair. You have to stop hoping that your good intentions will protect you from people with bad ones. The world runs on power dynamics, not moral principles, not fairness, not justice. Power dynamics. People who understand this shape the world. People who deny this get shaped by the world. You can be angry about it. You can wish it were different. You can call it unfair. None of that changes the reality. The only question that matters is, are you going to learn how power works, or are you going to keep pretending it doesn't exist while people who understand it control your life? Machiavelli isn't teaching you to be evil. He's teaching you to be awake, to see human behavior as it is, not as you wish it were. To understand that power exists whether you acknowledge it or not, and that refusing to learn about power doesn't make you good. It makes you vulnerable. Every lesson we've covered today serves one purpose: to transform you from someone who gets used into someone who cannot be used, from someone who gets manipulated into someone who cannot be manipulated, from someone who plays fair in an unfair game into someone who plays to win. Stop being fair with people who aren't fair with you. Stop being generous with people who see generosity as weakness. Stop waiting for recognition that's never coming. Stop trusting people whose loyalty you haven't secured. Stop asking for permission to take what you're capable of taking. Stop sharing information that weakens your position. Stop hesitating when you should be acting. Stop letting others control your reputation. Start being strategic. Start being selective. Start being unpredictable. Start creating consequences. Start acting with authority. Start controlling your narrative. Start moving decisively. Start building a reputation that protects you. This isn't about becoming cruel. This is about becoming effective. This isn't about hurting others. This is about protecting yourself. This isn't about being evil. This is about being realistic. Machiavelli's lessons are dark, not because they're immoral. They're dark because they reveal truths about human nature that most people prefer to ignore. The uncomfortable reality is this: every day you continue playing fair, someone playing ruthlessly is getting ahead of you. Every day you continue being nice, someone being strategic is taking opportunities you deserve. Every day you wait for the world to reward your goodness. Someone who understands power is building the life you dream about. You have a choice right now. You can close this video and go back to pretending the world is fair. You can keep being nice and hoping it will finally be appreciated. You can keep playing by rules that nobody else is following. Or you can accept the truth. You can implement these principles. You can stop being everyone's stepping stone and become someone nobody dares to step on. Machiavelli didn't write his observations to create more evil in the world. He wrote them to help good people survive in a world where ruthless people already exist. He wrote them to give honorable people the tools they need to avoid being crushed by dishonorable ones. He wrote them so that naive goodness could transform into strategic strength. The greatest tragedy isn't when bad people win. The greatest tragedy is when good people lose because they refuse to learn how the game actually works. When capable people stay powerless because they're too afraid to claim power. When honest people get betrayed because they never learn to recognize dishonesty. If you've watched this far, something inside you recognizes the truth in these lessons. Something in you is tired of being overlooked, underestimated, and taken advantage of. Something in you is ready to stop being fair and start being formidable. That recognition is your first step toward transformation. Now prove it. Drop this in the comments. Fairness is weakness. Strategy is strength. Let that declaration mark the moment you stopped being naive. The moment you stopped playing by rules that nobody else follows. The moment you started building real power instead of hoping someone would give it to you. Like this video if you're done being everyone's option and ready to become everyone's priority. Subscribe if you want more truth about power, influence, and human psychology. Share it with someone who's still playing fair in a game that stopped being fair a long time ago. Remember what Machiavelli really taught. The world doesn't owe you anything. Power doesn't come to those who deserve it. Success doesn't arrive because you followed the rules. Everything you want is waiting for you to stop being nice enough to ask for it and become ruthless enough to take it. The choice is yours, but choose quickly, because while you're deciding whether to stop playing fair, people who stopped playing fair years ago are already deciding what to do with the power you're too afraid to claim.